All right, what's going on, y'all? Today we're going to talk about a massive problem I'm seeing widespread across the fitness industry. This is something that I've seen for years, but right now it just seems like it's an epidemic plaguing quite a few people in the fitness industry, especially new people getting into fitness, whether that's on the bodybuilding side, the hybrid athlete side, the endurance side, whatever it is. I'm seeing this across the board. I'm having people come to me, either new clients, people DMing me, people stopping me in the gym and showing me their training plans, diet plans, PEDs, protocols. And I can't tell you how many times I am blown away at just how outright wrong these plans are that they're getting from fitness influencers, either someone coaching them or just based off of what they're seeing put out online. It's just frankly not true. There's so many fitness influencers right now. And I know this is also not uncommon knowledge. Many fitness influencers lie. They lie about the exact training they're actually doing. They might be downplaying or gatekeeping what they're doing. Many people lie about what they're freaking eating, maybe how many calories, macros, and then widespread across the industry, not just with bodybuilding, but in the running world, the hybrid athlete world, CrossFit world, worlds you would not think is perpetuating. People are lying about PED use. They're downplaying what they're taking, lying about if they're taking something. And then what we're going to talk about in a minute is the other side of it as well. So one thing to keep in mind, guys, is everybody has a fitness journey. So, whether someone's getting into bodybuilding, running, whatever it is, these fitness influencers that you're seeing, even if they're telling you the truth on what they're doing, and they're spelling out their exact training protocol, diet protocol, if they take PEDs, exactly what they're taking, you have to keep in mind that those protocols is only applicable to that person's body in that season of life. Meaning, if you're following, say, a hybrid athlete who has been running and lifting for the last 5 years straight consistently, and he puts out his training plan, his diet plan, whatever, and you just start trying to go out on week number 2 of your training and trying to copy that exactly, it's not going to end well for you. You're not going to get results, or at least you're not going to get results in a very efficient way. You're going to be way overdoing things. You're going to be doing things that are applicable to someone completely else that's already through quite a long fitness journey to get where they're at. So point of this is that some fitness influencers are just outright lying to you. There's a lot of deception in the world as a whole, but especially in the fitness industry. And a lot of people are just outright lying, what they're doing, what they're taking, what they're training. But even the people that are honest, and there's so many people that are actually honest on what they're doing, and including myself, I put out pretty regularly my exact training splits, what I'm eating, my macro count, and then PEDs. I've been very upfront on what I do. Even with that, I wouldn't recommend, someone just getting started to do exactly that. First off, everything that I put out and I've done, that's what's working out for me right now. That's what's giving me results at this stage in my fitness journey. Point is that I've said for years now that one of the most powerful things you can do is either A, get a mentor, get a coach, or B, study, the people you really look up to. So if you're getting into bodybuilding, you might choose your 5 favorite bodybuilding influencers, but instead of taking what they're doing right now, they might be putting out their training on YouTube or their training spot on Instagram, whatever it is, whatever training they're doing, take note of that and take stock of where they're at now, what they're doing right now, because they've also had this time to A/B test things and figure out what works well for them and what doesn't, what works well for a vast majority of people and what doesn't. But at the same time, what I would recommend, this is what worked well, extremely well for me, is pick out your 5 favorite influencers that either you look up to their physique, you look up to their accomplishments with training, with races, whatever it is, and then study them. Study what they did, back when you're at that same stage of your fitness journey. That doesn't mean you're going to do exactly what they were doing then, because, by studying them, you can save your time from the mistakes they made. But this also takes, quite a bit of study. So my point is it is great to follow fitness influencers and to take knowledge and advice from fitness influencers, but you have to keep in mind that that advice you're taking is for them in that stage in their fitness journey. So like I said, take the influencers you like and go back on their YouTubes, go back on their Instagrams, their TikToks, whatever, and try to figure out what they were doing close to around when you were at that stage of the game, and then look how that also progressed. And you'll be able to find what worked and what didn't work with a lot of those. You'll be able to kind of start coming up with your own theories from there. But the whole point is too, you've got to kind of figure things out for yourself. This is where doing deep amounts of study and research on most effective training methods, diet. If you're going to use PEDs, you need to study pharmacology and physiology and how it affects all of that. But the point is, do the research and the studying for yourself. Don't just take someone's word as gold, because a lot of times either A, they're lying to you, or B, what they're telling you is true, but is true for them at that stage in their fitness journey. So this will save you guys so much time and headache, and also being confused on why when you follow exactly the same thing as your favorite influencers, it's not working well for you. This is why, because it's applicable to them in that time. The other side of this too, and where this gets dangerous, is especially on the form side, on the flip side, where a lot of people are downplaying the PEDs they're taking, whether exact compounds or how much. On the other side of the table, some very uninformed people also think it's way more than what's actually going on. This is why you see in kind of the IFBB pro world, you'll see a lot of pros really aren't taking that many PEDs, especially compared to the forums users and a lot of amateurs out there. And that's because people are just taking what they're seeing on forums, which a lot of times is super dangerous, asinine advice. And they're thinking that's gold, and they're thinking that's what it takes to become a pro and compete as a pro. And yes, at that level, as we've talked many times before, there's some crazy stuff going on. But I personally have seen crazier stuff with amateurs and people following stuff on forums than I've ever seen at the pro level. And I've seen some pretty wild stuff. So point here is, guys, is take everything with a grain of salt and still do your due diligence, your research for yourself when you're following a fitness influencer. And with that, still use your fitness influencers and everything as, kind of a way to frame your methodologies and all that, and what you're going to test on yourself. But be cautious. Be cautious across the board, from training, diet, PD, supplements, everything, because what they're putting out either A, might not be 100% accurate and true. And on the other flip side, even if it is, that's what's applicable to them at that stage in their fitness journey. And, this is all so unique to everybody. I can't tell you how many people, my clients, I could have one hybrid client here, one hybrid client here, both training for, say, the same Hyrox race, and their training and their diet, everything's going to be drastically different just because how their bodies respond. Same thing goes with bodybuilding, everything. This goes across the board, that this is very individualized. So point here is study, do your research, do your due diligence, but at the same time, use influencers to motivate and also help instruct and frame your own methodologies moving forward. And it'll save you a lot of time if you do that. But I hope you guys found some value in this. If you did, please go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Be happy, be positive, be powerful. Have a great rest of your day.